Hi, everybody. My name is Chuck Warner. I'm here with my friend and colleague Dana Abbott as we continue our effort to seek unsaid wisdom in our commitment to preserving the astuteness of acclaimed swim coaches. We want to give these folks an opportunity to share precious observations that are only gained from a long perspective from coaching and observing the sport. Today, we are going to speak with Coach Don Gambril, who has coached at the crossroads of some of swimming history's greatest moments that he encountered while serving on 5 consecutive Olympic staffs from 1968 through 1984. Coach Gambril was named head coach of the 1984 USA men and women's Olympic team that competed in Los Angeles, the last time the city played host to the Games. Coach Gambril recently celebrated his 92nd birthday. He was born on January 2nd, 1934, in Altamont, Kansas, a small town that in a recent census tabulated 1,061 residents. He moved to El Sereno, California, attended El Sereno's Woodrow Wilson High School, where he was on the swim team and played football, starting as a center by his senior year. At East Los Angeles Community College, he specialized in distance swimming, making the junior college All-American team in the mile. He enlisted in the Navy before graduating from college, serving in 1956 and 1957. Don notably floated in on his ship into watching the dominance of Australia at the 1956 Melbourne Games when his ship was serendipitously docked there during the Olympics. Upon his return to the United States, he completed his studies at California State University, Los Angeles, where he also played center and linebacker on their football team for a year. Coach Gambril is coached at every level: club at Rosemead and City of Commerce and Phillips 66 in Long Beach. He coached Rosemead High School, where he was also an assistant football coach. And he coached 2 years at Pasadena City College, a junior college. At the university level, Long Beach State University 1968 to 71, Harvard 1971 to 72, and he coached at Alabama, where he was the head coach for 17 years, beginning in 1973. In 1983, the International Swimming Hall of Fame inducted him into their organization, as well as the year when he also won the USA Swimming Award. He's also been inducted into the American Swimming Coaches Association Hall of Fame and been the Southeast Conference Coach of the Year 4 times. In 1964, Coach Gambril helped 3 girls make the USA Olympic team. Subsequently, he was named assistant coach in 1968, 72, 76 for the boycotted games in 1980, and in 1984 became head coach for the team in Los Angeles. In 1990, Coach moved into athletic administration at the University of Alabama, overseeing Olympic sports through 1998. In 2001, the University of Alabama Aquatic Center was renamed the Don Gambril Olympic Pool. Our technical associate today is a former swimmer of Coach Gambril's, world record-setting swimmer and Hall of Fame coach himself, Johnny Skinner. It's great to see you today, Coach Gambril.
And in 1972, you're an assistant coach again. You're about 38 years old, and a couple things happened that I hope we can talk in some depth about, which is I think you were coaching the distance swimmers for men, weren't you? Rick DeMont, Mike Burton, was that your group?
Yes, I had the distance swimmers.
And Rick won the 400-meter freestyle, and then a few minutes before the finals of the 1500 freestyle, he was told that he couldn't swim, that he was disqualified because of an asthma medication. What do you say as a coach in that experience? What do you remember the conversation with Rick Demont and how that went?
No, I really can't, and I don't want to remember. It was terrible. Actually, he stood right beside me during the race, and he lived the race even though he couldn't swim it, and it just was terrible.
Well, something about that got him to be cheering for Mike Burton right there at the end. And Mike Burton, of course, came back and won that race. That's pretty special for a 16-year-old boy to be back there with you and on the pool deck and cheering for his teammate.
Yes, it was, and it was heartbreaking. It was, well, I don't think anybody could even imagine what it was like.
In 1968, at those Olympics, Mark Spitz had apparently said something about how he might win 6 gold medals in Mexico City. He was a senior in high school. He fell far short. He won 2 relay golds, a silver and a bronze medal. And then between 68 and 72, you got to know Mark really well. And I know as a young coach that there was a lot of talk that Mark Spitz was going to go to Long Beach State University and swim for you.
Yes, I was I was pretty sure he was going to, and he took a trip to South America with two or three other swimmers and they happened to be from Indiana and coming back from that trip, they were in Florida and Councilman was down training in Florida at that time and got a hold of him and talked him out of Long Beach. It was really a tough one to lose that guy.
I'll bet. And I understand you were playing golf with his dad a little bit in those years.
I went up there and did it and visited the family and did whatever you could do to recruit.
Well, that's one of the great recruits of all time. And Mark, of course, has this spectacular Olympics in 1972. Peter Dalen's the head coach. George Haynes and you are assistant coaches. Sherm Shavor is the head coach for women, who is also Mark's club coach at the time. And what was on the high end? What was that like just being a part of 7 gold medals, 7 world records in Munich, the greatest Olympic swimming performance ever to that point?
Well, you, I don't know if anybody could imagine what it was like, but it certainly was something that the whole team thrived on. It was not only what he was accomplishing, but the whole team enjoyed it and felt that they were a part of it as well.
And of course, Mark has a unique personality, as we all do. But I remember him saying that his greatest satisfaction was at the end of this when he won the 7th gold medal. The team picked him up and carried him around the pool, and that
They
was
did.
special.
Yes, sir. That was that. The whole team was so excited. How could they not be?
And in your coaching, what do you do? Do you just stay out of the way when somebody's on a roll like that and doing so well? Or do you have a tip about starting better or turning better or anything strategically? What are you
Uh,
doing better or anything strategically? What do you do?
I really don't recall doing anything except just be there for whatever he wanted.
Yeah. And now we get to the end of 72, the Olympics, and there is this terrorist attack with 11 members of the Israel Olympic team that were taken hostage and killed by a Palestinian militant group. And the only reason I bring this up is just you're a 38-year-old coach. How do you and Coach Daland and Haynes, how do you deal with that kind of situation?
You know, I don't even choose to remember what it was. It was just terrible. Fortunately, it was at the very end of the swimming, and so we were able to keep the team together. And Mark was taken and went and left for home. He didn't stay with the team and but it was you can't even imagine what it was like.
Yeah. And what a shame for Mark not to be able to be the king of Munich for a week or two, but have to be
Yeah,
back in
that's
Miami.
right.
Yeah.